Howdy folks, and welcome to the video on the American Tier 9 Premium Destroyer, the USS Johnston. Now, this is going to be a great video, a great game. You're going to get to see a lot of quality Johnston play. This ship recently came back. It is very hard to get a hold of in the form you're seeing it here, but it is available, or was available recently as the GQ Johnny, which my understanding is it's exactly the same, but just with a different camo. I am a bit of an odd duck to be bringing you this video because I imagine most people that play a lot of the Johnston have played a lot of Fletcher and so can give you a comparison. That's where their mind is immediately going to go, which is understandable because the Johnston is based on the Fletcher and is very similar to it. I do not have a lot of experience with the Fletcher, so I'm coming to this kind of fresh or raw, I suppose. And I was really looking forward to playing the Johnston because just looking at the stats and the way the ship is set up, I have been playing some kind of special purpose ships lately, and the Johnston felt to me like it was going to be a really great just all-around destroyer for doing destroyer type things, spotting, smoking, moving around the map, changing positions. And then I noticed these guns and I was like, oh, sap guns. And then I looked into the burst fire and did some research. Apparently the burst fire DPM is actually better than the non-burst fire DPM, which I did the math myself because I didn't quite believe that, but it's true. As I completely whiff, well, not completely, 710 massive damage. Anyway, just trying to kind of test out the guns, test out the maneuverability of the ship. This is going to be a good game. I'm going to play the standard, okay, except this part. Just getting into the swing of things. Don't mind me as I plow into the only rock within eyesight. That was a tactical move. I wanted to throw off the secondary shells. No, I promise I'm going to start playing better than that. Yeah, I liked the Johnston. I really did. I think what I wound up liking about the Johnston was it felt like it combined the best of two worlds. What I would call the standard destroyer capability and experience where, like I said, you're spotting for your team, you're moving around the map, you're capping as necessary, and you're sort of irritating ships, you're getting into duels with destroyers. It has that ability. But then it also, if you want to, can just park in a spot and farm damage on battleships, which is great. So it's kind of 90% of the Groningen, but with much, much better usability as just a standard DD. I think this shot is going to go a lot better. Oh, yeah, 4 pens, more penetrations. Oh. Little confusing to track the damage there because I also hit 2 torpedoes, but that was between the 2 torpedoes and all that gunfire, that was a tasty 32,000 damage and ticking because it looks like he can't rep that flood. Oh no, he did rep the flood. So that's a good start. I gotta say, I really like the burst fire. I wasn't super sure I would. I do generally prefer destroyers with shorter reloads, and part of that is because you can adjust your aim. Also, it's just more fun. Okay. Not so good sap there. Must have missed his superstructure. Got a lot of shatters there. It's still destroyer caliber guns. I think the sap penetration is in the 30s, if I remember right. So, you know, you're aiming for superstructures, basically. But man, I mean, I'm up to 51,000 damage, and all of that's on that Bismarck, minus 710. So that's a pretty good start. And a few thousand experience. Sorry, not experience. A few thousand damage spotting. You get standard smokes, but you do at least get 4 of them, which is a pretty good quantity. I like that. The main downside I've been told between this and the Fletcher is that the torpedo reload is really long, which it is. It's 170 seconds. So that is kind of a bummer. It's true. This is not a great torpedo ship. I will say the torpedoes are good. They're 13.5 kilometers, which is super helpful. And they go adequately fast, and they do Pretty good damage, 17,900. It's pretty nice. I think the thing that I like the most about playing the Johnston is it doesn't really feel, other than maybe that super long torpedo reload, it doesn't feel like there's anything especially wrong with it. Like there's nothing that it can't do. I feel like you could win duels with destroyers of the same tier. You can farm on battleships with this sap. The torpedoes are okay. You know, they're good enough. They just have a really long reload. You got the smokes. You have the speed. You have really good turning radius. At least it felt pretty good to me. It looks like it's a 3-second rudder shift, which is pretty nice. So, yeah. Now, is this ship better than the Fletcher? You're going to have to go to other content creators and videos for information on that one, because I don't play a lot of Fletcher. I have played the Fletcher probably a dozen, maybe a couple dozen times, but not recently, and I don't have any strong opinion on the Fletcher. But I like the Johnston. This game is going to be a good one. It's, again, a kind of traditional game of World of Warships. There is one aircraft carrier on each side, but he's not going to, like, single-handedly torment me like happens in some games. So it's mostly just your kind of classic dodge and weave, in and out, spotting, getting your shots in, using your smoke to farm, zoning out with torpedoes or trying to catch people. My team's going to play well. You know, my job, I feel like, on this flank, since we're a little underpowered and they're a little heavier on this flank, is to just do kind of a fighting retreat, which I guess is appropriate, right? So, again, I'm not a history buff, but apparently the Johnston is famous for fighting an epic fighting withdrawal, covering the withdrawal of other ships, something along that line. So it's appropriate that I should be holding down the fort, letting my friends on the other flank come in from the side. This game looks close, and it certainly isn't totally out of hand by any means. I mean, we absolutely still could lose this game, but I like our chances because our positioning is just so much better than the red team. Other than that, La Pampa in the middle there, they really don't have anybody taking up space. They just have kind of your traditional clump, and that's why I'm able to just sit here and farm. They don't even really need me to spot because they're all in the same place, and that Kagero has basically got them all spotted. He's probably got some pretty crazy spotting damage. Up to 68,000. Doing all right damage on this Lion. I wouldn't say particularly great. Certainly nothing like that Bismarck from earlier. I wasn't really sure about the burst fire, so I'm kind of trying both. I probably should have gone back to the burst fire at this point. I mean, the one advantage of the non-burst fire is it lets you adjust your aim a little easier because you get more feedback more frequently. Whereas with the burst, you know, if they're maneuvering, it can be a little harder to land shells. I can't remember if I get this kill. Sure, I'm racking up some damage. Oh, yeah, no, he gets away. Yeah. Kind of torn now about what to do. I'm going to try and just pace them and do some spotting. Make sure I can spot that Lion and maybe spot the Kaga. Like I said, it seems like this game is close, and I mean, of course, we still absolutely could lose. I'm certainly not saying it's in the bag, but it's going well, and I say that just because, I mean, we've got them completely surrounded, right? We've got all the angles. Boy, that Lion heal is pretty good, huh? That's annoying. Well, more damage for me to farm. Guess that's the upside. Yeah, the Johnston feels nice and fast, nice and maneuverable. I didn't use the HE at all. Can't comment on that because I didn't use it. I can certainly think of situations where it would be helpful, but SAP is pretty great. It's been a while since we sunk. Oh, no, we did just sink somebody. wasn't paying attention. I'm not sure who went down. Oh, but we lost our Columbo in return. Oh, there goes the Nespec. Pretty soon here, I'm going to actually spot the Kaga. I probably could have spotted him now if I hadn't backed off and decided to farm damage on this Yamato. Let's see how much damage I do with this one salvo. We were at 76,000. Yeah, not that much. 3,500. Poor aim. 2 penetrations. Oh, I turned off the burst fire. We're up to 82,000. I'm not saying that this wouldn't have happened in, you know, other ships. I'm just saying this was a pretty fun game. And I think the Johnston feels like one of those destroyers that would never let you down. Like, again, I've said this before. I'll say it again here for the Johnston. This is one of those ships where I can't imagine getting to the end of the game and thinking, wow, man, you know, I would have won that game if only I had been using the insert ship here and not the Johnston. You know, it's just a nice all-around solid gun and destroyer platform with no serious downsides other than the long torpedo reload. Ooh, that's a nice, tasty, juicy salvo there. Shoot, that was that almost 10 grand? Yikes, another 5 grand. Up to 94,000. And only 3 torpedo hits in that 94,000. So that's mostly guns. I'm keeping my distance from the Missouri and focusing on him because he's got radar. Radar is the one thing I don't want. The noose is starting to tighten around the red team. It's still technically even on number of ships, but yeah, as you can see, we're wearing them down. I always underlead. I've really got to work on that. When I watch these back, it's kind of embarrassing. It's like, just lead more. Oh, and here I go, hitting the hull of this sinking cruiser. Oh well, maybe it's to my advantage. I get another shot off on this line. Ooh, yeah, that was 8,300 damage on that salvo. That is pretty spicy for a destroyer. Especially a destroyer. Like, I mean, there are ships with better guns, right? I mean, the Groningen and the Friesland obviously have amazing guns, but those ships are so single purpose. They're slower, they turn worse, they have way worse detect, they don't have any torpedoes at all. They're just very different ships. This is an all-around destroyer, so for it to have guns that solid is pretty impressive. It's pretty fun, I gotta say. See if we can get this line. How was my aim this time? Still. Yeah, still. Got a little bit. Got a little bit of damage. Come on, lead better. Maybe this time? Do we get him? Somebody's going to get him for sure if we don't get him. Hey, we got him. 115,000 and a kill. And now the game is basically over. And I get to farm damage on this Kaga. We get to see once again that it's really annoying that aircraft carriers are so hard to kill and have so many tools even after they're spotted. Still, this sap is doing excellent damage to this guy. I obviously should be using the burst fire. It's just my being a Johnston noob. I forgot. It's weird to, it's, you know, it's just strange. Like you're used to turning off burst fire when you don't need it. So it's weird to think that the burst fire is actually better damage than the normal fire. I actually smoked up because I was starting to worry about how much damage I was taking. I was like, I gotta back off a little bit. I think those torps are gonna miss. I think he turned the other way, if I remember right. Playing a little too conservatively at this point. But I really didn't want to die. Yeah, I mean, this is me with like no practice on the Johnston. I think with a little practice, this could turn into a really great ship. Now, obviously, if you like this video, but you missed out on the GQ Johnny and you don't own a Johnston, then you can just play the Fletcher. It's not going to be... I mean, the main thing is you're just not going to get these sap shells, so you're not going to be able to farm as well against, you know, like, you can't do what I'm doing right now. And you don't get the burst fire, so... But you get better reload on the torpedoes. It's probably a wash. I mean, you probably don't get to have the fun of all these sap shells, but on the other hand, you know, you're probably a slightly better standard destroyer just because you're a superior torpedo. Anyway, that's the Johnston. 156,000 victory, 1 kill. Pretty swell for my first game ever in this thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more in the Johnston. Still got beat by 2 other people on the team. That's probably because I farmed so much damage on battleships and there was no caps to get points from. What was my spotting damage? 72,000. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty good game for me. See you guys the next time.